And this is Smith for Lon Simmons this evening. Lon decided not to venture out in today's high wind for fear of mussing a new hairstyle that he's just got. Well, there was plenty of college football today with the Gator Bowl in Florida and the East-West game in Oakland. We'll have stories on those games later in the show. The football story for the weekend, and probably for the year, might take place at Kezar Stadium tomorrow. For the first time in their history, the San Francisco 49ers are in a championship game. Should they defeat the Dallas Cowboys, and they are favored by a slim margin to do it, they will be the sports story of the year in pro football, regardless of what might happen to them in the Super Bowl. The 49ers have turned around a 69 season in which they won only 4 games, to the success of this year when they won 10 regular season games and then upset Minnesota in that first playoff game just last week. There's been a lot of talk about pressure for this championship game. Can the 49ers stand up to it all because it is their first postseason effort? Well, the pressure tomorrow will be no different than what it was last week or the final 3 regular season games when San Francisco had to win or lose out in the playoffs. They stood it then, and they should stand it tomorrow. It's expected that the game will be decided by John Brody's passing. The Dallas defense has not allowed a touchdown in 21 quarters. If the 49ers are to end that streak, they'll probably have to do it on the strength of Brody's arm. The Dallas passing has been weak the last few games, but the running of rookie Dwayne Thomas, Walt Garrison, and Calvin Hill has picked up the attack and will force the 49er defense to be at its sharp. A reminder that KSFO will have complete coverage of all the activities tomorrow, beginning with Jeff Scove and his interviews outside the stadium, Carter Smith and his show direct from Kezar, plus traffic reports from the KSFO helicopter, and the pregame show beginning at 1:40. So you hear all the football you want to hear tomorrow on KSFO. The report from Baltimore is that the weather is getting a little better for tomorrow's AFC Championship game between the Colts and the Oakland Raiders. Most of the so-called experts figure this game will be a battle between the offense and the veteran Colt defense. However, Baltimore actually outscored the Raiders during the season, but overall the Raiders averaged 345 offensive yards per game, while the Colts averaged 295. The Colt defensive statistics are led by the fact that their defenders intercepted 25 passes during the year. Will Gray played a big part as the West won its 3rd straight Shrine game. Here's Bob Murphy with the details from the Oakland Coliseum.
It didn't take long for the 46th annual East-West Shrine game to get underway as Norman Thompson from Utah took the opening kickoff, reversed it to Melbourne, Missouri, and Gray raced 99 yards for an all-time East-West Shrine record, and the West led it by a score of 7-0 after Dan Pastorini of Santa Clara added the extra point. The East came back with a 75-yard drive and 13 plays, with Mike Adamley of Northwestern chewing up 44 yards along the way, including the last one that took it into the end zone. The kick by Braxton was good, and with 8:51 remaining in the first period, we had a tie game 7-7. Jim Braxton missed a 16-yard field goal with 49 seconds remaining in the first period. The scoreboard remained unchanged. Getting into the second period with only 2:26 remaining in the first half, Dan Pastorini, the Kaufman Award winner as the outstanding player here today, popped through a 32-yard field goal for the West to lead at halftime by a score of 10-7. The biggest play of the day was a 45-yard touchdown pass from Pastorini to Mel Gray, the speedster from Missouri, from Santa Rosa, California, with 3:50 remaining in the third period. A play that traveled 45 yards, 80 yards in 6 plays for the drive. The kick again good by Pastorini, 17-7, and the West had a 10-point bulge. Moving into the fourth period, it was Dennis Dummett trying desperately to get himself away from East pressure, but he was unable to do it. And he shuffled a pass out that was intercepted by Jeff Wright of Minnesota on the 6-yard line. He rambled 94 yards unmolested for a touchdown. A 2-point conversion attempt was no good as Greg Slough batted away a Don Moorhead pass, and the scoreboard read 17-13. Pastorini, the outstanding offensive player of the day here this afternoon, and it was Charlie Weaver, the All-American from USC, the Spalding Award winner, as the outstanding defensive player. The West wins it by a score of 17-13. This is Bob Murphy in the Oakland Coliseum reporting for KSFO Sports.
And after today's game, Pastorini talked about that touchdown pass to Gray.
Well, Coach sent in from the bench. We had what we call a power pass right out of a left formation. And we faked the power off tackle to the right. And normally Mel would do a post pattern, but we felt that we could get him to the outside, running a post flag is what we call it. And he did, and he got open, and we just, got the ball there.
Charlie Weaver, another former Bay Area prep player from Richmond, by the way, talked about what it meant for him to play in the Shrine game.
I love it because all my life was, I've always wanted to see some.
Including whether or not he was surprised that it's the 49ers in Dallas in the National Conference Championship game.
No, I just think that it's a great comeback for both clubs. San Francisco and Dallas were more or less ruled out by a lot of people not too long ago, and here they are going for the whole thing, the National Conference title.
And Roselle, who used to live in San Francisco, talked about the 49ers moving to Candlestick next season.
I think Kezar has been a wonderful facility. I used to go out there on Sundays when I was with the University of San Francisco, but I think that the parking, obviously the field conditions, and the lack of a great number of good seats are all negatives, and it's time to change, and I'm delighted the 49ers have Candlestick set.
Roselle also said he expects the league to expand to 32 teams and other 6 franchises within the next decade. Roselle mentioned Seattle, Phoenix, Tampa, Portland, Honolulu, and Mexico City as possibilities for eventual expansion. The commissioner also indicated the league might try and come up with another method of selecting a wild card or 4th team in the division playoffs for next season.
This is the football fans all over the Bay Area have been waiting for. It's been a long wait, 25 years. Now, in less than 2 hours, the San Francisco 49ers will be trying to get it all together as they meet the Dallas Cowboys for the National Football Conference Championship. Randy Bessler is in his 2nd year with the 49ers and has become a starter on the team's record-setting offensive line. And if you ever wondered what kind of goes on in the offensive huddle, just listen to Bessler.
Well, John will ask us about how we think different plays will work, and whether we can do this or that to the guy we're playing against. And also, like on pass protection, which way we should be blocking, we should be firing out or setting back, or and that sort of thing.
On the other side of the field at Kezar this afternoon will be a pacing coach by the name of Tom Landry. And Landry is admitting that the 49er offensive line is great, but he thinks John Brody is the key.
Quarterback's success depends upon his experience and his know-how, because if he's able to read the defenses and he knows when to dump the ball off, he'll have very few traps. And I think that Brody's done a great job, and this is not taking away anything from the offensive line, which has been terrific also.
Well, fans are already starting to make tracks for Kezar. To make things easier, Police Chief Al Nelder is easing up on parking restrictions.
We're going to relax the parking restrictions by permitting the people to park in Golden Gate Park, and there will be police officers there to assist them to park. The only thing I do want to caution the public about is please don't park by fire hydrants or to the annoyance of people by obstructing their driveways or on crosswalks. Other than that, the police officer will help you park in the immediate area, and we'll be there right after the game to help you get out as quickly as we possibly can.
And now for looking exactly what's happening at this moment, let's go to Kezar and Jeff Skove.
Well, there are really a lot more people than I had expected. The gate's supposed to open up right about now, kick off a full 2 hours away. I'm outside the east end of the stadium where people have been lined up for more than an hour. A big crowd is jammed outside the entrance to the players' dressing room, the big cheer greeting each of the 49ers as they arrive. One. Actually, there are a lot more people than I expected. Perfect football weather is really an overworked cliche, but I know of no other way to describe it. It is clear, it is crisp, it is cool, but not overly cool. It should be a comfortable football day. There's not a cloud in the sky, and it just amounts to a great day, a great way to say goodbye to Kezar Stadium. Kickoff at 2 o'clock. The 49 Dallas Cowboys, Carter Smith will be along momentarily. Our helicopter will be up at 12:30. The pregame show at 1:40, and Lon Simmons and Hugh McElhaney with a play-by-play. The kickoff at 2 o'clock.
Meanwhile, back in Baltimore, the AFC Championship is underway. The Colts leading the Oakland Raiders in the second quarter, 10-0.
But this afternoon, football, and that's it. That's the whole story in Northern California. And, of course, the question that a lot of people are asking is, how does Kezar, the field itself, look? And the answer is great. It's a little heavy on the sidelines, off the field of play, and it might be a little bit damp in the end zones because they aren't normally covered by the tarp. In a brilliantly lit scene, of course, the tarp has been removed, probably was taken off yesterday to take advantage of all of the drying ability that Mother Nature and the sun can provide. But at the moment, looking down on the field of play, I don't see really any area that could be considered muddy at all. As I say, on the sidelines by both benches, it's a little heavy trekking. Let's see what's going on outside of Kezar as we switch to Jeff Skove. Jeffrey, do you copy?
CV, I do indeed. I'm outside the east end of the stadium, I guess, to your right, and I've been moving back and forth away from the players' dressing room. Coach Dick Nolan arrived just a few moments ago, I'd say less than 5 minutes ago, and there's a big group of 49er faithfuls who, I guess, line up outside the entrance to this dressing room every game and are out here every Sunday, and they're sure out here today, and with loud cheers when the 49ers, and a big cheer for Coach Nolan when he arrived just a little while ago. The gates, I guess, haven't opened. Well, yes, they are.
They just opened, Jeffrey.
Yeah, a couple of them right where I am starting to open because there's a great big crowd, and I'm, as a matter of fact, surprised at the size of this crowd an hour and, 40 minutes before kickoff.
That's right. I had mentioned that myself, that this week certainly people are getting into the area. I guess it's for parking, trying to get parking.
Yeah, very definitely.
Has anybody mistaken you for a player hanging around the dressing room? You're a big, tall fella and very rugged.
No. A couple of people have asked me if I have any tickets, but so far nobody's mistaken me for a player.
Yeah. I think some of the scalpers are going to get stung. I really do. I think they're going to wind up with a lot of tickets left over.
I've seen people walking around with great big hands full of them, like 10 or 15 tickets, and those are the ones who are going to run into trouble, I'm afraid.
Well, all week long during my hours, the telephone was ringing with people who wanted to sell tickets. Of course, I don't handle it even at the regular price because it gets to be very complicated. But people were asking $30, $40, and $50.
20 is the best. I ran into somebody for $20 a little while ago, except they were end zone seats down very low.
I saw people hawking them all the way down to 19th driving up here. So there's a lot of them out there, and I think people are going to get stuck. So if there are any scalpers listening, you better start lowering your rates, Daddy.
That's right.
Or you're going to wind up with something for your memory book, and that's about all.
I'll tell him you said that when I run it.
Okay, Jeff. Thank you.
Okay.
Let's play another record right about here at 12:15 on KSFO. 23-3, halftime. 10-3, signals off. 10-3, halftime, Baltimore over Raiders. Our stadium is filling up very rapidly now. The gates were opened about 5 minutes ago. And across the way, the other press box, there's a big sign that says, Brady, Montana, loves the 49ers. Obviously, visitors from that area. If you're coming in from Marin County, take a very judicious peek at the Farallon Islands. They're in clear, bold contrast on this brilliant, crisp day. I'm not going to go into a lot of raptures about the weather because you're in it too, and you know very well how nice a day it is. We're on the other side of the field from the sun, so it's a little chilly in the press box, but very, very comfortable, and really no problem to speak of at all. If you're coming to the game, take the warning of the police chief and don't park around fire plugs, because I saw 2 cars being towed away already on my way in here at about 11:15, so they're not fooling around. They will tow you away if you're in an area where you're not supposed to be, and there are precious few of those. Driving along Lincoln Way, coming to Kezar, I noticed the prices of parking. Of course, the closer you get to Kezar, the more it is, but it was $3 to $5 a pop earlier, and fans were walking all the way from 19th 45 minutes ago. So everybody is planned to get here early and get settled down. A lot of picnic lunches and all of that, as you can imagine. A lot of people picnic in the park prior to the game and have done so for years, the inveterate 49ers fans. And you can kind of rhapsodize about the history of this great football team. I saw the first game they ever played in San Francisco. I was all of 9 years of age. 25 years ago. Rich Smalley was 12 years of age. He's my engineer. About 21 minutes after 12 noon, and the 49ers have one more hurdle, and then it's on to Florida, and you could join them. Listen to this.
This is Dan Sorkin. How would you like to go to the Super Bowl in Miami? KSFO is going to give you 2 tickets to the Super Bowl and fly you there first class aboard a National Airlines jet if you win in KSFO's Super Bowl contest. All you need to do is send us your name and address on a postcard and make sure it's postmarked no later than midnight Sunday, January 10th. We'll have a drawing, and if your card is drawn, you go to the Super Bowl in Miami. Send your card in and be sure you do it today.
The chief of the police, Chief Nelder, has a statement on parking here in the Kezar area, and we have it for you just to clarify it. Here's Al Nelder.
We're going to relax the parking restrictions by permitting the people to park in Golden Gate Park, and there will be police officers there to assist them to park. The only thing I do want to caution the public about is please don't park by fire hydrants or to the annoyance of people by obstructing their driveways or on crosswalks. Other than that, the police officers will help you park in the immediate area and will be there right after the game to help you get out as quickly as we possibly can.
Let's see what Jeff Scove's up to. Where are you, Jeffrey?
CB, I'm moved to the, I can't think of directions here. I'm at the opposite end from where I was before, the west end, and I run into the Red Garter Band, as a matter of fact, and they're going to play something for us if they can get this thing going.
All right, let's hear them.
Well, how are you guys doing? We're on the air now. You going to be able to, oh, here we go.
Bye, Blackbird. That certainly is very appropriate for today's game, isn't it, Jeffrey?
Yes, it certainly is. Who's going to win the football game, people? Who's going to win the football game?
You know it. 49ers.
Okay, that's what's going on out here. This is the Red Garter Band, and
Bye-bye Seagull, right?
That's right. Here we go. A little bit more appropriate.
Take me out to the ball game.
No.
Come in, Jack. Thank you, Jeff.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you.
27 minutes after the hour. KSFO, the world's greatest radio station in San Francisco, from the press box at Kezar Stadium. Prior to the big game, I'm Carter B. Smith. We got Dave Henderson or Bob Holmes in there back at the radio place.
Dave Henderson, Carter.
Happy New Year to you, Dave.
Thank you, sir. I sure envy you being out there.
Oh, I envy me.
That's a nice assignment to pick up. Let's talk about traffic, Carter, while we're at it. We have an accident working southbound on the Bayshore, a little north of the airport. They're clearing it out right now. It's a two-car. So there'll probably be some congestion southbound on the Bayshore and probably some rubberneckers going northbound. But have patience, motorists. It should be cleared in a matter of minutes. You mentioned you had comments by the chief of police on parking out there, Carter. Just to repeat once again, diagonal parking is being allowed along Kennedy Drive in Golden Gate Park for those moving into the Kezar area now. The only thing you have to watch out for is don't park on lawns or in front of fire hydrants, or don't block any driveways, because when you come out, you might not have a car there. We have a halftime score back in Baltimore, recapping the action, if we may. The Colts are leading the Raiders 10-3. The first score came by the Colts, 16-yard field goal. That was in the first quarter. And then they scored on a 2-yard plunge by Unitas, or rather he hit his running back, Norm Bullich. And then George Blanda in the second quarter came out, kicked a 48-yard field goal to make it the 10-3 halftime score we have now.
As we continue our pregame coverage from Kezar, and fluttering around somewhere over the Bay Area is a man with a 49er T-shirt on this very afternoon, the Honorable Bud Shipley. Bud, come on in.
Yes, Carter, top of the afternoon to you, sir.
Happy New Year to you.
Hey, thank you very much, sir.
Where do you find yourself?
Well, I'm up in the sky, Carter, looking down at a beautiful California, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
It's a day like this, you know how it is. It's just beyond all description.
Yes, sir.
And California on the surface is moving real well, too, along the freeways. I have yet to see any problem other than the one that was mentioned during the news at San Francisco Airport, southbound on the Bayshore. But it's being cleared, and it was causing no congestion whatsoever. Traffic is light, moving well in all areas. Coming across the Bay Bridge, there's no problems, as I would assume that the East Bay football fans would prefer to watch the Raider game on television than to come and cheer on the 49ers. What do you think?
Sure, there's a lot of interest, and of course, everybody in the Bay Area, whether they're 49er rooter or not, is of course rooting for the Raiders. What a great Super Bowl that would be.
Oh yeah.
Well, why don't you fly by and say hello to us here?
Okay, I'll be there in a few minutes. Which side of the stadium are you on, Carter?
I'm on the south side.
South side.
Yeah.
Okay, be careful.
Okay. Same to you, Bud. He's a man who's lived and died with the 49ers for a number of years. He was down on the field, checking the field out, and then he went down to the dressing room to set up the victory broadcast after the game.
You just did it now. You jinxed it, you clown. You
No,
say those things.
Listen, I'm Mr. Positive.
You introduced me yet, by the way. You didn't tell the people who I am.
Well, you started right away with a clown business, so it's quite obvious that it is abusive Stu Smith. How's the field look?
The field's in great shape, Carter. It's amazing. You know, there's not been a game here since the 49ers played New Orleans, which was about a month ago. And considering all the rain we've had, you know, and not much sunshine, it's in great shape. The field itself is in great shape. Now, the sidelines are very mushy and very muddy. In fact, there was ice right on the sidelines where the shadows from the press box cover the field.
Really?
And it's an amazing thing. You have ice in one spot, but out in the center where the sunshine is hitting it, it's in great shape. So Dan Dempsey, again, and his crew have done a tremendous job to get this field ready for today's game.
Now, how about the end zones, which are not covered by tarps? How do they look?
They're a little heavy, but they're still going to be better than the Atlanta game. In fact, I said New Orleans. The Atlanta game was the last game the 49ers played here. And in that game, the end zones were very heavy. But today they look like the footing is going to be much more solid than it was for that ball game.
Well, now I noticed, Stu, that when you check out the field as a broadcaster, you have to inform Lon and all that. You didn't do any sprints or running. You just kind of walked around. I mean, shouldn't you have dug in and, done a few sprints to really check your footing?
Carter, you see me walk up and down the halls of KSFO at various times, and you know I have to watch every step, one by one, one foot in front of the other very slowly.
Thank you for the report. And from up here, it looks great. All of these gentlemen in the middle of the field, these are officials of both teams. What are they conferring about at the moment?
Well, at the moment, Dick Nolan is right between the 40 and 45-yard line. He's talking to some television people, and fellas in the 49er jackets, that's Paul Wiggin, the defensive line coach out there. Ed Hughes is another assistant 49er coach, and Doug Scoville. They're all out there, and I don't know who the other people are. They're just cameramen taking pictures.
Yeah, just generally getting the feel of it. At the moment, we're at about 17 minutes until 1 o'clock. Kezar is roughly one-fifth filled, 1/6 filled with people.
Buddy, you should use that method.
Yeah, I keep coming back to fifths all the time. Nice talking to you, Stu. Ice on the field.
Sidelines.
Anyone who wants to adopt a pet or a dog or a cat from the SPCA Animal Shelter can get one, right? Well, you might be surprised to learn that the answer is no. The San Francisco SPCA is not interested in, quote, getting rid of the animals entrusted to their care. Instead, they want to place them in good homes with responsible owners where they'll not suffer from abuse or neglect. If you can give a pet a good home, go to the SPCA Animal Shelter at 2500 16th Street in San Jose. Carter Blakemore Smith, the prince trapped in the body of a disc jockey, very happily ensconced in the press box at Kezar. It's 17 minutes until 1 o'clock on KSFO. And one of the bands that will be performing at halftime, kind of practicing the west end of the stadium at the moment. Let's see where Jeff Scove is roundabout now. Jeffrey, you at the microphone there?
I sure am, CB. I've moved out onto Stadion Street. I've circled the whole stadium and just seeing if I run into anything interesting. You were right about the scalpers. I've run into someone now who is willing to sell a ticket for $10, which is $2 less than the face value of the ticket.
Yeah.
So that's not the rule by any means. Most of the people are still asking 25. One fellow I approached at 25, and I said, I don't know about that. He said, well, how about 18? And he still wasn't happy when I shook my head.
Well, you see, Jeff, that's why I'm known as a financial lizard of the West. See,
that's right.
It's just like the stock market. It's the law of supply and demand, and the closer you get to game time, those prices will fall.
Exactly. So people are going to lose money, particularly a fellow who's willing to give it up for $10. It's not a very good ticket, the $10 ticket. Here comes bus, NFL press bus. So those are writers from around the country.
Yeah. They got a handrail coming out of the bus, I'm sure. Get everybody in.
Yes, you keep getting back to that again, don't you?
Keep going back to booze all the time. Well, It's that time of year, I guess.
That's right.
Okay, Jeff. Thank you.
Talk to you later.
And I see right ahead of me Bud Shipley fluttering around. How does traffic look, Bud?
Yeah, Carter, happy to report that I fail to see any snags whatsoever in the traffic. All the main arteries and even side streets leading to the Kezar Stadium area are moving quite well. Of course, on the other hand, parking is a big problem, as usual, in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing that the police department allowed diagonal parking today, because this eases the problem somewhat. But I would advise people looking for a parking place to try Fulton and Lincoln Way, but they'll have to go halfway down Golden Gate Park west toward the beach before they'll find any space available. The neighborhood seems to be pretty much filled up, you know.
Yeah, it's a good brisk walk, and if you're coming to the stadium, you still have a long time. It'd be kind of good for you.
Oh, yeah, beautiful day for a little stroll, huh?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Bud, very much.
All right, CB.
And we're about an hour and 15 minutes away from kickoff. And after this game, of course, the 49ers have one more game, and that will be coming from Florida, and you can go there with them. Listen to this.
This is Jack Carney. Why don't you come with us to the Super Bowl in Miami? KSFO is giving 2 tickets to the Super Bowl. We'll fly you there first class on National Airlines if you win our Super Bowl contest. All you do is send in your name and address on a postcard, postmarked no later than midnight Sunday, January 10th. We'll have a drawing. If your card is drawn, you'll be going to the Super Bowl. We're going to have a winner. It might be you.
Bud Shipley's been hovering right over the stadium. You see anything, Bud, worth mentioning at this time?
No, Carter, not even any parking space. I might mention that an attempt to park within the neighborhood of the stadium would be relatively futile.
Yeah.
There is parking space about a mile west on Fulton and Lincoln Way. However, I don't think there's much left in this area, especially street parking, you know.
Okay, thank you very much, my friend. We got a partial score here out of Baltimore. Baltimore leading the Raiders 20-10. Come on, Raiders, let's go. 23-10, 23-13. He's holding up his 3 fingers. Third quarter, I see. And we're coming up on 1 o'clock at the world's greatest radio station. That's KSFO in San Francisco. Carter Blakemore Smith, Mr. Wonderful, endeavoring to bring you a little of the flavor, a little of the excitement, and the feeling of anticipation from Kezar. News time at 1 o'clock.
This is KSFO News. In less than an hour, the San Francisco 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys will be on the field at Kezar for the NFC Championship. The stadium is filling and traffic is reported somewhat heavy. And talking about traffic, let's go up to the KSFO helicopter and Bud Shipley.
Yeah, all lanes leading to Kezar Stadium are moving well. There are no traffic problems to speak of that are going to impair the progress of the football fans this afternoon. However, parking is another problem, and in spite of diagonal parking being in effect and being legal, there's hardly a space available in the immediate neighborhood of Kezar Stadium. There are spaces along Lincoln Way, about a mile west of the stadium, and elsewhere I don't see anything available. Beware of not to park in front of fire plugs and driveways, and also keep off the grass with your car, but diagonal parking is legal this afternoon.
And now for a look at what's happening on the ground at Kezar, we go live to Jeff Scove.
Really on now, the rush really on as I'm at the east end of the stadium. The stream of people into Kezar, a steady one. This is the last time people will file in here for a pro football game. And it couldn't be a more beautiful farewell. Crystal clear skies, temperatures around 50, I would guess. Some wind, but nothing like the gales of yesterday. I've never seen more excitement among 49er football fans, but then that figures because never before has so much been at stake. The championship of the National Football Conference, it all happens here less than an hour from now. The 49ers and Dallas Cowboys, all is in readiness upstairs. I saw both Lon Simmons and Hugh McElhaney make their way inside, so we'll be ready with a pregame show at 1:40, play-by-play at 2 o'clock. Stay right where you are.
And a reminder, diagonal parking is being allowed along Kennedy Drive and Golden Gate Park. The SFPD saying the only bans on parking in the stadium area will be on lawns, in front of fire hydrants, and blocking driveways.
Let's find out about some secret parking areas that Bud Shipley's got his eye on. I'm looking right at you, Bud.
Yeah, Carter, off to my right and just west of Kezar Stadium, there's a big triangular lawn there, and they seem to have opened it to parking, and we can find out just how many people are tuned into us now by observing the mad rush into that area. There are several school buses on the plot, but there's an awful lot of space available. Also, I noticed behind the Young Museum, is that the name of the museum in Golden Gate Park, right by the Japanese Tea Garden?
Yeah, the Young Museum there.
Right, behind the Young Museum, there's quite a bit of space available on the street itself, and that's one of the areas in which diagonal parking is legal.
All right, will you repeat again the area that they just opened for me?
Okay, just off to your left, Carter, right just outside the stadium to the west. As a matter of fact, I'm circling over it at this moment, and it's open to parking.
Okay, fine business. Thank you very much, Bud.
Right.
That's good news. At the moment, it's about, I'd estimate about 50% filled, Kezar, and I think one of the reasons the 49er fans want to savor every moment of this. There's a big cheer going up now, and I can't quite see from our booth who's come onto the field. It's got to be maybe the limbering up exercises. Since it's a cheer, I can't yet determine. You see, Rich,
Oakland may have scored.
Oh, Oakland may have scored again. This is one of the eerier things that I've ever experienced. There are so many people monitoring the Raider football game here that when something exciting happens, there is a big cheer that goes up. And I'm not conning anybody when I say that, sure, it's being broadcast, a Raider game.
Bye, that time. Baltimore just scored.
Baltimore just scored again. So it's about 26-17 right now, Baltimore over the Raiders. So, but it's really a very eerie feeling to see a stadium cheering, and actually they just got the radio on. 10 minutes after 1 o'clock here.
With, 45 minutes or so of game time, I'm sure that there are some going to be left with tickets to go. $10, as I told you earlier, some of them going for. So, if you want to come to the game and take your chances, I think you could probably find your way in for a price at least fairly close to the face value of the ticket. Some of the tickets aren't all that good, but those that are going, they are certainly available. There's no question about that.
You know, Jeff, the inside here now, the stands are roughly 2/3 full. Could well be that everybody who's going to watch the game is here and the rest are scalpers tickets.
That could be. I hadn't thought of that. That's a real possibility.
Bob Texera's wife hasn't gotten here yet, so there'll be one more. We can log her in.
Here's the Red Garter Band, as I guess you may hear in the background also again.
Fine business, Jeffrey. Thank you.
Okay.
Let's check on traffic generally now at Bud Shipley. Bud, how's the bridge look? Have you had a chance to get over there again?
Yeah, Carter, I had. As a matter of fact, I was just going to comment on that. People inbound from Marin County have no problem at all. They'll breeze right through Park Presidio. But once they get to the Golden Gate Park, I would advise them to plan on parking right behind the Young Museum, because it would be to their advantage, and it'll keep them off the street, get them off the street a lot quicker. People inbound on 19th Avenue from the Westlake area, Carter, would be wise to make a right turn as they approach Lincoln Way and plan on parking about a mile west of Kezar Stadium along Lincoln Way. A noteworthy item, Carter, from this vantage point, I see a lot of black smoke bellowing from the Hunters Point area. I'd like to assure people that it appears to be in the dump itself, which is out just in that neighborhood behind the big PG&E plant. I don't think there's any structure involved there at all. Just the dump is on fire.
Fine. Thank you very much, Bud.
Right.
And one other item here before we get back to music. If you're planning on buying a boat this year or have a new boat, you can prepare yourself for more fun on the water by taking the free U.S. Power Squadron course in piloting, seamanship, and small boat handling. Now, the class is open to men and women. It starts this month in your area, and you can call a toll-free number and find out all about it. So wherever you live, you can hear me. Call this number, 800, that's the area code, 243-6000. It's 19 minutes after 1 o'clock at Kezar. Lon Simmons, in my estimation, is the finest announcer of football I've ever heard in my very, very young life.
I'll drink to that.
And Lonnie lives and dies for the 49ers. You're not really able to completely tell that by listening to the game, because he has a responsibility to depict the game as it occurs. But if you've been in the booth with Lon, you know that he cares so very, very much about the fortunes of the team. How many years have you been broadcasting 49ers?
Since 1957, I started doing color, working with Bob Fouts, who was doing play-by-play then. Are you cold or something up here?
Yeah, no, I sit close because it isn't that I'm cold, Lon. It's principally because it's a very small booth. If you'd like to, I guess you could go back in the other room, but it's just a friendly sort of pat on the back, you know.
All right, Howard.
You are generating a tremendous amount of heat, however.
I woke up at 3 o'clock last night. The National Football League had a party. Went to the party, got back home at about 12:30, 1 o'clock, woke up wide awake at 3 o'clock, and started yelling because the wind was blowing so hard and it was going to affect Brody's throwing today. What a beautiful day, though. It really has turned out perfect here. But I'm so nervous I couldn't believe it. 3 o'clock, I'm awake. I woke up again at 6 o'clock, and will this day never end?
Of course, you're just going to get to work in about a half hour from now. How do you feel personally? Your feelings of anticipation. You've been, wanting so very, very much for this to happen. How do you feel?
I feel as confident as you can feel on something like this. There's a fellow out there that directs the offense for the 49ers, John Brody. Now, you talk about, people say, that John has been a loser because the 49ers have been a losing ball club. Well, that is the reason that John has been a loser, because he's been with a ball club that wasn't capable or wasn't good enough to win. But, John, you give John equal odds or a little bit less than equal or a little bit over, you get him around the margin, he's going to win. He's a winner. He's a money player. And John is one of these guys that doesn't display much emotion, but he just goes out and does the job. And I think that offensively the 49ers have to be a better ball club than Dallas. Now, the question is about the defense. They talk about the Dallas defense. But I've watched this 49er defense all year, and though statistically it's not rated at the top, it has always been able to get the ball for the 49er offense. It's been able to do the job. So I'm as confident as I can be, along with being scared.
Well, I got you to get back to doing what you do just prior to the game, Lon. Thank you for coming next door to where I am, and I'd sure like to sit next to you during the game. You're throwing out about 200 BTUs.
Well, you can come over there. Some of those BTUs I pressed in last night.
Okay, it's a couple of things here, and in just a second we'll probably say goodbye to Bud Shipley, because it looks like we got pretty well handling all the traffic problems. But first, this high-rising fever that's sweeping across the nation. Traffic problems are over. Bob Texera's wife has shown up. So this fever that's sweeping across the nation this weekend is known as football fever. The first stage, of course, was Rose Bowl-itis, and now that has transmogrified into 49er and Raider mania. There's no known cure, but the symptoms are treated in exquisite detail, in the Sunday Examiner and Chronicle. So you read the bigger-than-ever sports pages in today's Sunday Examiner and Chronicle. It's just what the doctor ordered. If you'd like home delivery, give them a call at 397-6200. Bud Shipley, let's say goodbye to you and thank you very much for your very, very helpful reports this afternoon.
Okay, Carter. If I say any more about traffic, I'll sound like a broken record. However, there is still space available in that lot just west of Kezar Stadium. And look straight ahead and a little bit to your right, and you're going to be paid a tribute by the Goodyear blimp. I think it's a good time to play Up, Up, and Away of my beautiful balloon again.
Yeah, there she is.
There she is, your beauty.
Yes, she is.
And
that's gorgeous.
That black smoke is still billowing from Hunters Point dump, Carter, and I'll assure you and everybody else who may have noticed it that it's only refuse that is on fire. And a little word of consolation to you is the fact that the wind is blowing it away from the KSFO transmitter, so you're not in jeopardy.
Okay, Bud. Thank you for your reports, and have a good day.
Okay, I think I'll salute these boys in the blimp and go on home.
Okay, I'll watch every minute of it.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay. It's 1:30 at the world's greatest radio station, KSFO in San Francisco. I'm Carter B. Smith from Kezar Stadium. And now let's go back to the newsroom at the Fairmont Hotel. And Dave Henderson, what do you got in there?
Carter, let's just first bring us up to date on what's happening back in Baltimore. But just minutes to go in the fourth quarter. The Colts leading the Raiders now 27-17. George Blanda is in at quarterback.
Let's hear it. We're going to do it. Start 25 minutes. 49er fight song. And we're about 4 minutes away from the pregame activities here from Kezar Stadium. At this very moment, the stands are just about filled to capacity as 49er fans, some of them of 25 years duration, are savoring every moment, every nuance of before the game and certainly the game itself. During halftime is going to be a great show, and we'll be broadcasting it. Such stars as O.C. Smith, Bobby Darin, who will sing Mac the Knife, Tony Bennett, who will sing, of course, I Left My Heart in San Francisco, and also comedian Pat Henry will be here. And we'll be broadcasting the halftime activities from the field. It would be certainly a redundancy to say how much I've enjoyed being here to try to share with you a little of the pregame activities before the game. And I'm looking forward as much as you are to the start of the thing here in about 25 minutes. So I'm going to play one more record, and then we'll make way for Lon Simmons and Hugh with the pregame activities. Let me, probably one of the last, to wish you a very happy New Year. This has been Carter B. Smith, and I'll see you on Monday next, round about 4 o'clock.